Hello, and welcome to Candid Talk with Zainab Suleiman Okino. Today on Candid Talk, we'll be discussing the topic between trial of and amnesty for bandits. My guest on the show today is Bunmi Aina Craig. Bunmi is a lawyer, gender activist, public commentator, and an author. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Before we proceed, let's take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to Candid Talk with Zainab Suleiman Okino. And as I mentioned earlier, we are discussing the topic today between trial of and amnesty for bandits. And my guest is still on the show today is Bunmi Aina Craig, a lawyer, gender activist, public commentator, and author. Glad to have you, ma'am.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so let's situate the problem first. Well, the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Hassan Nasiha, said recently that the notorious bandit Bello Turji has embraced the peace initiative of Zamfara State. He also said repentance has brought about peace in 3 local governments of the state. And he added, as a result of the dialogue being initiated, there has been peace between the warring groups of Hausa and Fulani community. Is there any such thing as bandits repenting or embracing peace?
Well, first of all, the definition of banditry is acts of violence committed in societies where law and order has broken down. So the act is a crime. Okay, so the question is whether a criminal can come forward now and say, I have repented, forgive me, absorb me back into the society. Okay, so we have to look at the issue. For there to be, you have to have justice in society. Okay, so you have to look at the angle of the victims of this crime. Okay, there has to be some sort of retribution, and there has to be some sort of punishment. Punishment to act as a deterrence for others, okay? So if it's as simple as, oh, I can, you've committed crimes, now you've had a change of mind and you wish to just, for your slates to be wiped clean. I don't think a society should run like that, okay? Because I think you'll be sending the wrong signal that it's okay, you can have a career in crime, and after about 4 or 5 years, you can come back and, you can now say you have repented, So I don't think it's as easy as that. I think society can only run when you have the rule of law, when you have laws that are respected. when you have consequences for people's actions, okay? Because, I mean, it's a vicious circle where we are today. You can even say that this is the reason why we find ourselves here. Of course, the bandits themselves, they are Nigerians. They are parts and parcel of us. They have become what they've become today because Nigeria happened to them. You can say that. But we are all going through the hardships. And we made a choice to live within the rule, not to go and carry gun and start violence, stealing, kidnapping. Because that's what banditry is, We decided that despite the hardships, the poverty, everything we're going through, we're going to live within the rules. So people who choose to not to do that, I don't think we should compensate them by giving them an easy, easy way out of it.
You mentioned some two words, and you said they're making it look like a career, and then not trying them means you are compensating them for even wrongdoing.
I believe so, to the extent that law and punishment is not just to punish you because we want to, just to punish. No, punishment is to also act as a deterrent to other members of the society who may be looking at, committing that crime themselves. So once you know that there will be consequences for this kind of behavior, you are more likely to be deterred not to go down that route. But if you think that, oh, okay, so I can do it, make some millions, kidnap and steal and do, and then 5 years down the line, I'll just tell them, oh, I've repented. You understand? I've repented. And that's just it, And I mean, we don't know the full, I don't think we have the full information because it's very, very, suspicious that they
just... but he also said, the same deputy governor also said, so far they've had peace deals with at least 9 groups. Yes. But the question now is, how sustainable is this?
And do we even have the full information? Is this as simple as this saying we have repented?
Okay, or if we have a deal with one group, yes, what happens to other groups?
The thing is that, has there been some inducements? We have not been told whether they are being paid, whether there's been some sort of inducement to say, okay, fine, we just, pay you to not disturb us again. Do we know that? Is that the case? Because it's very, very strange that bandits will just get up one day and say, oh, we have repented. What was there an inducement? And then to answer your question, can this last? Can this hold water? Is this just for the period of this current administration and then the problem, because if you look at, historically, I don't think people just wake up one day from being from that extreme of the spectrum to now just say, oh, what caused that repentance? What happened along the line? So we have to look at it in a holistic way, okay? We have to think of it as an organized society. We have to be an organized society for these things to end. And then we have to look at the root causes of why do we have bandits, okay? What is the problem, okay? And I would say is a lack of opportunities, lack of education, and we just seem to be going round and round and round in circles, okay? If you are able to contain these 9 units, I can bet you 20 units
will spring
up. So what is going to be the solution? Okay.
But even as he said that, I think about 2 weeks ago, even today as we speak, there were some kidnappings took place.
There you are. There you are. There you are. Because somebody has seen that, oh, okay, fine, this is not as serious as, for me, I actually know 2 people who have been victims of kidnap. And it's a harrowing when they talk to you about it. Even one of them till, once it's 4 or 5 o'clock, she's becoming, agitated. She needs to leave. She needs to go, It never leaves you. It never leaves you.
Exactly.
So from the point of view of the victims, we will not be doing justice if you're going to be saying that somebody who has killed, maimed, raped, and caused a lot of destruction to your family, is now just going to be told, okay, I've repented, and that's the end. You can go and sin no more.
No more.
I don't think it is healthy for a society. That's my opinion anyway.
This issue coming shortly after another kidnapping kingpin, so to say, was made a title holder in the state. Was given a title.
Chieftaincy.
Yes. So, and until when there was this outcry, So the governor now reversed it. It was at a local government level that it happened. Now it's now making people think that Zamfara State is hobnobbing with bandits and treating them with kids' clothes.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you explain this?
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. And you have to say that, you have to remember the context of the gold resources that they have there, you know, because some people might even be forgiven to think that perhaps it's been like a mafia situation, like a cabal, you know, they need protection to mine the gold, you know, because it doesn't make sense. How do you, somebody who is an identified criminal, because I mean, we say bandits, we say they are criminals. These are outlaws, these are criminals, you know, and to give them that kind of recognition, I think it is an insult on every law-abiding citizen, especially the victims of these dastardly acts, you know. I'm not just saying throw them away and, you know, lock them away and throw the keys away. I'm not from that mindset. I believe that we as a society, we owe that responsibility to ensure that every member of our society has opportunities, okay? Our leaders who are managing our resources, they must prioritize education. They must prioritize opportunities to create opportunities so that when people are gainfully employed and you know that you have something doing, people will be less likely to turn to crime. So,
but I want you to throw more light on the aspect of mineral resources and relate it to criminality in Zamfara State when we return. So if you are just joining us, the program is still Candid Talk with Zainab Suleiman Okino. And we have been discussing the topic between trial of and amnesty for bandits. My guest on the show today is Bumi Ainok Craig, a lawyer, gender activist, public commentator, and author. The program continues after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Candid Talk with Zainab Suleiman Okino. Today we are discussing the topic between trial of and amnesty for bandits. And my guest on the show today is Bumi Ainok Craig, a lawyer, gender activist, public commentator, and author. So before we went on break, you said something about the discovery of mineral resources in Zamfara State. What has it got to do with criminality?
Well, I'm not sure whether it's a coincidence, but I mean, it's very suspicious that all of a sudden there's so much focus on Zamfara, you know, and we've heard, well, it's all been rumors, but sometimes it sounds plausible that all of a sudden we have so much focus on Zamfara. You know, there's a lot of banditry, you know, going on there. There's a lot of, you know, mafia kind of activity going on there. So it's a bit suspicious to know whether this thing is a you know, domino effect of people trying to steal and covert the mineral resources. It might be, you know, it's not impossible, you know, but of course there's no hard evidence. I'm just saying that it's a bit of a coincidence and suspicious that all of a sudden, and especially when you now have the government trying to appease these bandits, trying to keep them, you know, okay, don't make trouble for us. So you begin to wonder, are they trying to say, okay, you act as a, you know, as a watch for us, make sure that our own people, I don't know, nobody knows, but it's just a little bit suspicious, you know. So we need to address these issues as a nation. We cannot continue like this because we're going deeper and deeper and deeper into this black hole, you know, and Nigeria has become, you know, synonymous with insecurity, you know, and we cannot develop as a nation. We are dealing with so many issues. There's no power, there's no, and then security on top of it. So where are we going?
So, but which do you think is more effective? Applying amnesty or trying criminals generally and even bandits in particular? Considering the fact that we had tried it and it worked in the past. You remember during Yar'Adua's time, bandits of the Niger Delta, well, not bandits,
agitators
of the Niger Delta
yes.
were kind of forgiven, were given amnesty, and honestly, to be fair to the government of that time, since that time up to this moment, we have enjoyed relative peace from that area. So it's so very easy for people to say amnesty can work. Let's try it again here in Zamfara.
Well, I'm not sure it's the same situation, and I'm not sure that they're comparative, because if the Niger Delta region, they had a political motivation. They were agitating for a reason. They said the main reason then was, the main concern was that, look, this oil, this crude oil that is the main sustenance for our country is being, is in our area, yet we're not benefiting. And then we're even suffering. Okay, we cannot farm, our farmlands have been polluted, we cannot fish, we cannot do anything. We need to benefit from our resources. That is totally different, in my opinion, from people who are just, killing, maiming, raping, kidnapping. I think this is just crime. I don't think there's any...
What choice do you think the governor has, considering that every day he's inundated with issues of kidnapping, killings, arson, all that? What choice? That's like asking for solutions. What do you think the governor should have done otherwise?
Yes, the governor is the chief security officer of the state. Okay, it's one of his main responsibilities, and I understand they collect huge resources as the security votes. What they need to do is to enforce the law and to invest in the people. So you enforce the law, make sure that your system, is working, okay? And then you invest. We have to invest in the people, in the local governments. Make sure our people they have something to do, okay? The education of our children, okay? Pay attention to the housing needs, the healthcare needs, the welfare of the people. If you do not do that, if you like pay, you are going to just have different groups coming up, okay? And it's going to be an albatross. So the best thing is to do an organic, create an organic system. It might not be, you might not win the war in 6 months or 1 year, but you will surely win it, and it will be sustained. But if you just have this fire approach, fire brigade approach, it's not. I don't think it's going to work. It has never been known to work anyway. Because if you tell a criminal that yes, there's a possibility of you to get get back into society, it's just going to go. We hear about the amount of monies that these guys collect. Okay, so let me go and have 2-3 years of a career as a kidnapper. Yes, collect billions and billions. Then I'll come back and then I will say, oh, I am sorry. But it is not right. It is morally wrong.
But, bandits themselves have complained of not being catered for by the society, no education, no form of social investment in them and all that. And as such, they had to go into this. And that's doing that, the fact that they are now looked upon as if there's nobody, because there's nobody to care for them. They are like stateless people. People who are not in any way under any authority as such. So looking at it from where you said education for them, social amenities for them, it means that they can as well justify what they are doing.
No, you can never justify crime. A society can never justify crime, no matter what. There's no excuse for crime. I mean, we have to be clear on that one, But I agree that the government, our leaders need to do much, much more. There must be inclusion for these people because we are brothers and sisters. We are all the same, I mean, we are also going through the hardships, but we didn't pick up the gun to kidnap. You understand what I'm saying,
Exactly.
Because if you have the complete breakdown of law and order, everybody's going to be, the worse for it. So we cannot condone crime regardless of the cause. You understand? Because we have laws. We have the penal code for the North. Okay, we have laws. And that's why we are here where we are today. For instance, the government, they say they don't have enough money to run their affairs because monies have been stolen. Corruption, humongous amounts of money is being stolen. There is no consequences. So these politicians know that we're going to steal 100 billion naira, 900 billion naira, we'll go to court, and then the next thing, you get a pardon.
Your sins are forgiven.
You get a presidential pardon. EFCC spends millions investigating, prosecuting, witnesses, different, and then all of a sudden the president makes it a priority to pardon. So there is no consequences. And when you don't have consequences, people just, well, let me do it because nothing is going to happen. So this is why we find ourselves, Nigeria has no business with poverty. Nigeria has no business.
So before we go, 2 quick questions. I thought Zamfara state government should have learned from Katsina state government that tried amnesty before and it didn't work. But then the federal government has not presented people to us to tell us, has not told us, these are bandits that we have arrested and we have charged to court and these are their offenses. So it's just as well that the Zamfara state government decided to do something about it if the federal government is not doing anything about that and even Boko Haram. So the question now is enforcement, and then the Katsina example. What do you have to say about it?
Well, the whole thing is shrouded in mystery, if you ask me. And that's why I said that we cannot exclude the issue of the mineral resources, gold in Zamfara. The elites, they have their own different rules that they play by. We only see what they want us to see. You understand? So it's difficult to really answer that question because they only know why this thing is happening. I mean, I read once a while back how planes were landing in Zamfara and things. There was an airstrip and all that. So something much bigger.
Oh, well, it was
beyond us.
No. I mean, it was like a film that was being shot or something like that.
That's what they tell us. You understand? So it's very, very interesting to know that things are happening. But like I said, they will only let us know as much as they want us to know. They know what is going on. And I don't think it should be the norm that criminals will come up and will say, okay, fine. We are putting you back into society without any form of retribution or punishment. It's very, very dangerous. It's not healthy at all. It's not healthy even for the criminals themselves, because if you don't want to, even they themselves, I don't think they want to perpetuate a life of crime, you understand? So if we have such a society, that is anarchy, and the whole thing is going to collapse. And if we don't want that, we have to go back to the drawing board. Go back to our laws. There's a reason we have laws, okay? Go back to our laws, look at it, and let our leaders take leadership seriously. Let our chief security officers take their responsibilities seriously. Let them use the funding for what it is meant for. There's just so much money one man needs in this life, you understand? Let your people be okay. Their welfare, their education, their upkeep, their health.
So what's your advice? Is this your form? Is it a form of conclusion for you? What's your advice to the state governors? That also includes even Katsina and Niger State, where banditry has ravaged many parts of those states. What's your advice to them?
Well, unfortunately, I remember the governor El Rufai said something. He said they should not pay ransom to the bandits. I'm not sure if he had his own family member, he would say that. I'm not sure I would say that too, but it sounds extreme. But perhaps that is the starting point. Because if you're paying hundreds and millions, you have made it a lucrative business. So that is on the parts of banditry, of kidnapping. Our governors have to sit up to their responsibility. They mustn't try and take the easy route. Easy route out. As okay, let's placate these few groups of people. You're just going to, you chop off one head and 10 heads spring up. You understand? And eventually to consume everybody. And the bandits, the criminals elements in our society, we mustn't just castigate them and throw them away. They are parts of us. We must be inclusive. We must listen to these people. Okay. We cannot have an elitist in a minority group living large and then the masses, it cannot work. So there has to be equity. There has to be justice, The resources meant for all of us must be equitably, dispensed for the benefit of everybody. That's the only way forward. That's my own opinion, So.
Yeah, I think the preponderance of your opinion is that bandits should be tried and laws should be enforced and criminals must be punished.
Yes.
So maybe we should leave it
to serve as a deterrent
to others.
Yes.
So maybe we can leave it at that.
Yes.
So we have been discussing the topic between trial of and amnesty for bandits on Candid Talk today. And I had the pleasure of hosting Bumi Aino Craig, a lawyer, gender activist, public commentator, and author, as my guest. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.